Morning, friends, and welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we have been baking our way through Some of My Best Friends Are Cookies by Amelia Jackson. Today is going to be a little bit different. I mentioned in a few of my videos that it is my husband Mark's 50th birthday coming up very soon, and we are going to do a cocktails and cake party for him for his birthday. So what I thought I would do is video making all of the different desserts that we are going to have for his party. Um, and then I will show you all of the different cakes that we're going to make. The only thing is that, of course, it's not all going to be made in one day. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I will record all of the components of making all the different cakes, and then I will edit them together so that you get a video of one cake at a time. I think that will be the easiest way to follow along with the recipes, but it does mean that I'm going to be changing looks and outfits quite a bit throughout this video, but I hope that you enjoy something that isn't biscuits or cookies. Um, Thanks for watching. So I still have my little orange cake in the oven, and I need to wait for the big orange cake to cool. So I think what I will do while I'm waiting is make the bases for my cheesecakes, because they can just sit in the fridge until I'm ready to make the filling without any issues. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make one gluten-free. I bought these gluten-free biscuits for the base. So I will do one gluten-free, and I will use my homemade chocolate ripple biscuits for the other one. Now, because these do have cream in them, I am thinking that I'm not going to need a lot of butter for this to hold together. So let's just see how we go. I think it does need a little bit of butter. So I'll just melt this. So this is just about 10 or 15 grams of butter that I had left from everything else I've been making today. I think that'll do. It's not as good as my normal base, I don't think, but I think it will work well enough. And here you see me making the regular cheesecake base in exactly the same way as I made the gluten-free one. I use my homemade chocolate ripple biscuits, 250 grams of those, and then I add about 150 grams of butter. Because these biscuits were much moister than the standard chocolate ripple biscuits that you buy at the store, I definitely didn't need that much butter, but it did turn out just fine. So because I have decided to make a gluten-free cheesecake base and the regular cheesecake base, I have decided to double my cheesecake recipe. The base for the gluten-free cheesecake is a lot smaller than the standard for this recipe, and to compensate, I have done a larger base for the normal one. So with this double batch, I am just going to make the double batch. And then I will fill both bases to what I think looks about right. And if I have leftover cheesecake base, I will just stick it in a container and stick it in the freezer for another time. I have a couple of recipes that I wanted to try. One of them was a cheesecake stuffed biscuit. I can't remember if it was in this, if it was in Amelia's cookbook or if it was somewhere else that I saw it, but it looked really nice. So if I have excess cheesecake base, I might end up making that. I have just boiled my kettle to dissolve my gelatin, and I have 4 blocks of Philly in here. So because I have doubled what I intended, I am not going to have enough peanut butter. I'm not going to have enough peanut butter anyway, to be fair, because I reckon someone's been eating that. So that is nowhere near the cup that we need for a single recipe or the 2 cups that we need for a double recipe. So this whole thing would be 2 cups, and you can see it's got a massive chunk out of the middle. So I am going to put all of this in. I should just check that this one is also gluten-free. Yes, it is. You know, we were at the shops the other day and I said to my kids, do we have enough peanut butter? And they said, yes. And I said, do we have enough peanut butter given that we just bought crumpets and English muffins? And they said, no. So I did buy an extra thing of peanut butter. So at least they'll still be able to have their peanut butter toast. Okay, I'm just going to get my hot water. I'm just going to let that sit. And I also need the sugar and the vanilla. So we need 1 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla for my double batch. So in this mixer, we have 4 blocks of Philly. We've got 1 cup of sugar. We've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and we've got 2 cups of peanut butter. Maybe a little under, but I'm sure it will be fine. In my teacup, I've got half a cup of boiling water with 4 teaspoons of gelatin, and I am going to beat this together until it's all combined, and then we're going to whip our cream. So that didn't take very long at all because all of my ingredients were room temperature. I'm going to get a second opinion on that. This one is also gluten-free. My husband agreed that we think it needs a little bit more peanut butter. So that's maybe another 3/4 of a cup, which I think will be better. Here we've got our 600 mils of cream, which we're going to whip. So our cream is whipped to soft peaks. So we're adding our chopped Snickers. And our gelatin mixture, which has cooled slightly. And we're going to beat that together. And now we need to fold in our cream. Okay. So our bases are set and cold. So this has actually worked out really well. My big one is nice and full. And this one is actually a little fuller when you compare them side by side, but obviously this tin is much higher. So now these need to go into the fridge to set. To finish off this cheesecake, we melted 150 grams of chocolate in 1/4 cup of cream to make a ganache, and then once it had cooled, we poured that over the top, and this cheesecake was absolutely delicious. It was a definite hit and one of the favourites of the evening.